Hi, welcome to the first Wednesday of the new year, so Happy New Year. Let's get started. This is from Ellen, and she lives in Lahaina, Hawaii. Um, Dear Marianne, I live in an apartment building built in the 70s. I am on the third floor of the four-story building with 51 units, mostly studios. Last year, plumbers came and replaced or lined all pipes in the building. I had a quinseed from you, which I lost outside. A few months ago, I started having bad dreams about the plumbing. I smudged sage a bit, but because of pets, three chinchillas, a rabbit, and a cat. Wow, and they all get along, huh? I did not want it to be too smoky. I aired it out, but it was still spooky. I recently got another of your Quincy charms, the one in acrylic, and I wear it constantly on a 16-inch chain, either on my neck or wrapped twice around my wrist. I have to tell you, the first night I had the chain on my neck with the charm, I had a sense of something energetically trying to pull it off my neck. Let me stop here. An earthbound spirit cannot get within 3.5 or 4 feet of that Quincy charm. It was the weirdest thing, but maybe it was a dream. Ever since then, I have felt 1,000 times better and want to get another charm for backup. I know that earthbounds can live in apartment buildings wherever they want, and I'm often sensitive to these things, even when our crazy society wants us to somehow think there's nothing true about it. Anything that you can add would definitely help. Ellen. 51 units. Yes, you are 100% correct. I'm sure that it is in and out of all the units in there. And when Ted and I were in Hawaii, believe me, ghosts are everywhere, earthbound spirits, including, there. Um, I don't know if you're wasting your time and your money by just smudging a little. That really doesn't help. I think what you might want to do is maybe get on Zoom and be at home and let me see if there is anything in your apartment. And with that one charm that you have, if there is only one way into your apartment, you could put that charm over the door and that would stop anybody from coming in. But unfortunately, I'm going to bet you almost have a patio too, which means you would need at least 2 seeds or enough seeds to cover any doors that go directly to the outside of your apartment. So why don't you try coming on Zoom and and let's see exactly if there's something going on or not. Today is the 6th. The next available one is January 18th. So let's see what's going on if you have the opportunity to. This one is from Nancy, and Nancy is in Maryland. Hello, Marianne and Ted. I have 2 questions. We recently had an infant pass in our family. She was 6 weeks old. In a circumstance such as this, does the deceased family member come to get her? Everyone in the family, including great grandparents, are still living. If there's not a relative that could come and have gotten her, her guardian angel would have taken her. So absolutely, she is in heaven. She is where she's supposed to be. I have never, ever, ever found a child younger than 3. And the few 3-year-olds that I actually ran across, they spoke like they were 5 or 6. So don't worry, she is where she's supposed to be. And on a lighter note, have you ever met notable ghosts, politicians, musicians, celebrities? I have. And you might think that most of them that I ran across were in California when I was working with Ghost Whisperer. And I did. I mean, living and dead actors and actresses out in California. But in the Cleveland area, I actually ran into Myrna, Myrna Loy, in one of the theaters in downtown Cleveland. So yeah, and I've run across a lot of sports figures that have died, and but I have, and the one that impressed me the most was Barbara Stanwyck. When I was on set on Ghost Whisperer, she was there and came around a corner and she was standing there, and I was so shocked to see her there that all I could say was, "Oh my gosh, there's Victoria Barkley." And this young cameraman said, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, from the Big Valley." And one of the director said, "Oh, some old-time movie actress." Whoa. She lost her mind when she heard that. Not a good thing to say, but yes, I actually have. Thanks for your letter. Okay, this one is from Matt in New York. My mother suffered for 6 months after being taken off a ventilator, and I cared for her at her home. My siblings and I were all there when my mother passed. There was complications with a visiting nurse association doctor who did not sign her death certificate for 2 weeks. And the whole time my mother's body laid in a cooler. We wonder if she went to the light since it took over 2 weeks for her to finally be laid to rest. I'm running into this also, Matt, with the COVID, especially when there was such a rash and they were putting people in coolers back then too. It would be up to the individual person if they wanted to wait for their funeral or memorial service or not. So I would have no way of knowing if she crossed over or not. You're going to be the best answer for that if you or your sisters or siblings have had a dream of her. If you've had a dream of her where she looks good, she looks healthy, she's smiling, then she is definitely where she is supposed to be. She is not stuck. Okay, this one is from Mary in Virginia. Greetings, Marianne. We are a military family moving every 2.5 to 4 years. My question is, how can we protect ourselves from ghosts who may be attached to something we've picked up along the way? We have furniture, antiques from Belgium, Italy, Germany, England. Sometimes I feel like something or someone is following us around the country world. We're due for another move. Is there anything I can do to keep those that belong here? I can imagine the look on the movers' faces if I go sprinkling sea salt over everything, and would that even help? Mary, this would be my suggestion. Before the stuff gets packed up, when you have the opportunity, get and any antique, anything that you buy in a foreign country, get When Ghosts Speak. And the last chapter in this book will tell you how to take negative energy and remove earthbound spirits from items that you have purchased or received or picked up along the way. And any house that you're moving into, any new property that you're moving into, I would smudge that place like crazy before your furniture and stuff arrive at their destination. That way, if something's still hooked on to whatever you brought with you, it'll be brought into the house after you've smudged, and they will leave at that point. So that's my best suggestion to you for that. This one is from Fiona. And I'm wondering if a spirit can drag someone down so much that they want to end their life. My 15-year-old son had some weird things happen to him. At his young age, he's had shingles, strep throat 3 times, and went to an anaphylactic shock, took allergy specialist, and it turns out not allergic to anything. Walking in his sleep and talking, he told me one time, "Mommy, get off my bed." I said, "Who's on your bed?" He said, "A little boy, get him off." Then he tried killing himself. He would have succeeded, but something set me home, and I found him in the basement. He had taken a large amount of pills. It took the hospital 14 hours to stabilize him. While living in the house, my spouse and I split. We all seemed to be very angry all the time, as if everyone was very depressed. My son became very violent one minute, then would sob uncontrollably the next without knowing why. My 15-year-old is still feeling the effects even though we moved. He is still depressed. I want to know, could a spirit have latched onto him? Oh, you have a lot going on here. An earthbound spirit can absolutely make somebody very, very depressed, where they can be suicidal, especially if they committed suicide and that's how they died. His age would also have something to do with it. Plus the fact that he's been hospitalized so much, something from there could have followed him home. So I would definitely say that somebody is affecting him in a bad way. I would absolutely have the house blessed by an ordained priest or minister, start smudging, get him a quincy charm to wear so if there is something in the house, it will not be able to attach to him. Get on Zoom, let me see what's going on in the house, and that might be able to answer your questions better. But at his age, I would definitely do something. He shouldn't be tortured like this. This one is from Jess. For years I have felt something follow me wherever I go, whether it would be to the store or school. I have always felt it. I recently moved into my new apartment with my husband, and we have been experiencing some odd situations. I am pregnant, so I'm just a little concerned. What are the intentions of the spirit following me, if there is one? And that leads to my question, can a spirit follow you from one place to another? And is it possible that you can automatically feel if they had good or bad intentions? I would really, really like to know before the baby is born. First of all, a ghost can follow you from place to place. I mean, it's TV, it's the movies that they have to stay on the property that they lived in, born on, died on. No. They can go anywhere they want. And yes, they can absolutely follow you from your other place to here. Because you're pregnant, I definitely would start smudging, and you said you moved into a new apartment, so there's your second strike right there. There have to be other families living in the building, so you've definitely got an issue with ghosts coming in and out. Try smudging on a really, really regular basis your apartment, at least once every 10 or 12 days. Just be careful after the baby's born that you don't smudge, because the smoke would be way too much for an infant. So be careful of that. And again, like I told the other gal, you can get on Zoom, we can see what's going on, and that might make a difference too. It's rough being pregnant and having to go through something like this. Okay. Next, let me go today. Today, the 6th, is the Epiphany. So any of you that have wrapped the pennies in the tin foil and put them on your window, today is the day you take the tin foil off and go spend them. So hopefully you're watching this video today, the day that it was being done, and that if you haven't spent your 3 cents yet, go out and do it. The next thing I want to remind people of, next Wednesday, the 13th, is the new moon, which is the day you write your law of abundance. And this one's a little tricky. It is at midnight. So you've got to stay up until midnight or set the clock and get up at midnight. As soon as it strikes midnight, write out your check. I mean, if you fall asleep and you don't do it, at least write it sometime that day. But to work the best, it should be done in that minute. You know, it's a new year, and it's the first the first one of the year. I think it's important to do this one so you get on the right page for the rest of the next 11 months. So I would definitely try to do that. And next Wednesday, it'll be too late if you watch this at 5:30 because it peaked at midnight. Oh, and back to the pennies for a second. It's the United States that has pennies. There are other countries that do not have denominations that are pennies or that 1 cent. So if you live in another country and next year you want to do this, just use 3 coins, and I would say of the lowest denomination. Somebody want to know if they use 3 silver dollars or 3 half dollars, would that bring in more money? You know, I truly do not know. All I know is that the pennies do work as long as they're spent on the 6th, on the Epiphany. And the next Zoom is on January 18th. There is still room in that one. The one this Friday is full. So if you want to get on Zoom, and when that one fills, we will open one up in February. But right now, that's the only one that's available. So everybody have a good week. We'll be doing regular questions again next week. They've sort of piled up. And start the new year off right. Thanks very much.